Does the Shelby Mod lower your car by an inch? Let's find out. What's up guys, my name is Andy, and on today's video we're going to do the Shelby Mod, or sometimes called the Arning Drop, on my 66 Fastback. What we're going to use is this template right here, and it's going to allow us to bolt this in place where the existing bolt holes are for the upper control arm, and then it's going to give us a place where to drill a hole to drill new bolt holes for the upper control arm. And to do all that, we're going to have to jack the car up, take the wheel off, take the spring out to get to that upper control arm. I've covered that in quite a bit of detail on a previous video on my previous Mustang, so I won't go over all the details there, but we still need to disassemble everything just like we did last time I had done this. The problem is last time I didn't measure the before and after of the Shelby Drop, or the Shelby Mod on my 66 coupe that I had. And so what I want to do is we're going to measure the height of the fender right now as it sits. And then we're going to do the Shelby Mod, and then we're going to remeasure it and see how it came out. Last time I did it, I did the Shelby Mod and the springs at the same time, so I couldn't really tell how much this dropped the car. They say it's supposed to drop in an inch, so let's find out if they're right. So on the passenger side, we're going to just measure here to the very underside edge of the fender, and we got about 26 3/8. I don't know how easy that is showing up on the camera, but about 26 3/8, and I'm just going through the center line of the axle here, right up into this. You know, I don't know where the exact point, the highest point on the fender is, but that's okay. If we just do the same place every time we measure it, we'll be all right. So we're getting about 26 3/8. Let's go measure the driver's side and see where that one falls out. All right, and doing the same on the driver's side, we have about 26 1/8, 26 1/8. So there's about a 1/4 inch difference between the height of this fender and that one on the other side. So we'll just keep that in mind when we're measuring the new drop. I do want to point out, when you get to the part where you pull the upper control arm out, there's going to be shims in there that set the camber for your car. When you pull it out, be careful, because they're just a U-shaped piece and they're just sitting on the bolt that's in there. And when you pull it out, they could rotate and fall off, or they could fall. And so if you don't know which ones go where, that'll change not only your camber, but it also could change your caster of the car. Be careful of that when you're pulling that out. So let's start pulling everything apart, and then we'll come back when we get to the point where we're going to drill those holes. I try to line the camera up the best I can. I don't know if you can tell, the car's jacked up and stuff, but actually this hole, the back hole, is actually a little bit lower than the front hole, and that gives kind of a slant to the upper control arm. And that's okay, that's fine. So when we drill the hole straight down, some people would think they just go straight down this way, but actually you want to go straight down this way, so you're going down an inch and back 1/8 of an inch. And that's what the bracket's going to give us. So on my bracket, I've even marked which way the front of the car is facing. And so this is meant to use for 65 to 66 and the 67, 68. So in the 65, 66, we want to use this little hole in the back here, not the one in front of it, because in the 67, 68, you want to use the one in front. But for this car, go down 1 inch, back 1/8. So when we bolt this up here, around right there, that's going to mark where our 2 new holes go. All right, now we can see the pilot holes that I have for the new holes that we're gonna drill. So I'm just gonna use one of those unit bits and just kind of sneak up on it to the size that we need. And now that I got a pilot hole, I can just go ahead and drill through and finish this out. And then I went ahead and marked with a Sharpie so I know when to stop, because it's kind of hard to see the little numbers on the unit bit here. So go ahead and start drilling the hole open and we'll be set. All right, now the holes are out, ready to go. I can go ahead and put the upper control arm back in there. Don't forget to put the shims in with it, but you can see, again, it's kind of hard to tell on the camera, but these holes are directly straight down from the original holes. But if you were to draw a line this way and draw them straight down, you actually kind of draw them at an angle. So that's why we use that bracket to go down an inch, back an eighth. All right, guys, this side is done. Let's go ahead and get the other side done. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and do it, and then we'll come back when I get done, because you don't need to see all that again. All right, we got the driver's side done. You can see the bolt is now in the new lower hole, and we're good to go. All right, guys, so we got it done. We got both of the sides done. We got the Shelby Mod done on both sides, and what you need to do is I just backed the car out in the driveway and then pulled it back in so that the suspension can level out. When you drop the car, it's still kind of bound up a little bit, so now we can see how it came out. So let's measure it and see what we did. So with the passenger side, which is we measured 26 3/8 before we did the drop, and now we're coming in at 27 7 or 25 7/8 or 25 3/4, somewhere right in between there, which definitely. So what is that? That's a 1/2 inch to 5/8 lower. And it's supposed to be a 1 inch drop, so I mean it's better than nothing, right? So we do know that it works. Let's check the other side. And the driver's side, remember we started with, what was it, 26 1/8 or so? When we, so it was about a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch lower than the other side, but we were at 26 1/8. Now we're at 25 1/2 to 20, yeah, about 25 1/2. So again, about 5/8 of an inch drop. So that seems about pretty consistent on both sides, about 5/8 of an inch on both sides. So here's a look from the side. I know you guys couldn't really tell because we didn't look at this at the beginning, but you can see that the rear is a lot higher than the front. Well, part of it is because there are taller shackles in the rear. So we're gonna have to get those off of there, and we'll put stock height shackles back on there, and that will drop the rear down. And then from there, we'll judge if we need to do mid-eye or reverse-eye rear leaf springs to get that gap even shorter. But for the front, we're going to do springs in the front, but I wanted to do the Shelby Mod first and see how it came out, and that looks pretty good. It's already a lot better. Again, I should have showed the beginning of it, what it looked like before all this, but now we can see it now, which is good. All right, guys, that wraps up another mod. So we got the Shelby Mod done, and we obviously saw that it did lower the car about 5/8 of an inch. Not the 1 inch that it is claimed, but hey, it's better than nothing. And then we'll do springs, hopefully in the next video. We'll get the front springs done and get that front drop down just the right height, and then we'll tackle the rear after that. All right, guys, if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, and if you subscribe, I appreciate it because it helps my channel out, and we'll see you in the next one.